Brian Williams at MSNBC got in trouble for saying that he did too much or was brushed by Pope John Paul II back in the 70s when he attended Catholic University in Washington, D.C. Our next guests will not have to inflate their connections with Pope Francis because they're going to be there. Dr. Mike Calhoun, Director of Campus Ministry for DeSmet Jesuit High School. Good morning, Doctor.
Good morning. Thank you for having us.
And Connor Blair. Connor, you are a junior. You were one of 5 DeSmet kids who are going to the class, going to the Mass?
Yeah, that's right.
Doctor, how did this happen?
There's a Jesuit high school in Philadelphia, St. Joe's Prep, and they invited other Jesuit high schools. And when we saw that about a year ago, we just jumped at it because we knew we'd want to be a part of it. And there'll be over 40 Jesuit high schools all going to St. Joe's. We'll be staying there for those 4 or 5 days.
And so you're taking 5 kids from DeSmet?
We are, yes, and 3 teachers.
How did you choose which 5 were going to go?
Well, it wasn't an easy decision. We came up with some reflection questions, and then we emailed students who were very involved in campus ministry, about 50 students, and then we read their reflections anonymously, and we picked 5. And thankfully, as teachers, we agreed on those 5.
That would have been quite of a fight if you didn't agree.
It would have gotten ugly.
Connor, how did you get picked? What did you do?
Well, I just wrote 2 essays, answered 2 different questions. The first one was about how Pope Francis has affected me, how he's affected me more than the other popes. And then I think the second one, I don't really remember what it was about, but...
Fair enough. Well, how has Pope Francis affected you as a young junior from a Jesuit high school?
Well, the other popes, when they were pope, I was young, so I didn't really understand what they were doing. So Pope Francis is really, he's the 3rd pope that I've been alive for, but he's really kind of the first in a way because he's the first one that I've seen and understood what he's doing.
Right.
And he's been around a lot, in media and such.
What's the sense of the other kids at DeSmet? Are they jealous that you and some of your buddies are going out?
Yeah, I think they're jealous, but I don't really talk about it as much at DeSmet. I talk about it a lot, with my friends out of school, and they're all pretty jealous. But the DeSmet kids are pretty jealous because we're missing school. So whenever we have to tell our teachers we won't be there.
Sorry, I have to go hang out with the Pope. Now you're going to be at the Mass, and we asked this question yesterday, and this might be a little inside baseball. The Pope doesn't hand out the Eucharist at the end of Mass, does he? They have people to do that for him.
I would imagine he does, but there would be a lot of different people. Yeah,
right,
I would think, right.
So can you finagle it to actually get the Eucharist from the Pope?
We'll try.
Right? I mean, I would think everybody would want to try and be in that line.
Sure.
Yeah. And I don't know. Well, I guess we'll have to wait and see.
And Dr. Callahan, will you be able to, when I always see sometimes people are able to kiss his ring, and what situation would that work, and would that be possible for you guys to do that?
That would be interesting. I would imagine there'll be so many people. I don't know how close we'll be able to get. Mm-hmm. And I think just even being there, being in the city, will have a transformative effect, I would think. So
one of the nice things about the Pope coming to America is that people sort of focus on it, but there's a lot of misinformation, and a lot of people don't understand. He's the Pope, yes, he's Catholic, but he's a Jesuit priest. Explain to people what that means exactly.
Well, he's still a Catholic priest. The Jesuits are an order founded by St. Ignatius, and so being part of that order, DeSmet is a Jesuit high school. He would take, he's taken a vow of poverty, which would be very different than popes that were not in an order. They're a group of people that believe in service and in action, in helping the poor, and we've seen that surface in a lot of what he says and does.
Why is this the first Jesuit priest, and why is that such a big deal?
Traditionally, I don't think the Jesuits seek out roles like that. I think they would work in parishes, or they would teach, or they would be missionaries, so that they usually aren't bishops or cardinals, but it does happen.
Right. And the fact that they did pick a Jesuit priest, he's really turned the Catholic Church on its ear in a sense?
He has. I think that's very Jesuit, is to challenge. He goes after things that we don't want to talk about, or things that are difficult to face. He goes for the kind of the lowest, or the poorest, visiting prisons and hospitals, and he definitely wants to challenge us.
Connor Blair, what are you looking forward to?
Well, obviously visiting the Pope, like as a specific event, the Papal Mass, but I think overall, just like going on the trip, it's kind of a retreat in a sense. I think we're calling it a pilgrimage, but I feel like I'll feel a little bit different coming back to St. Louis on Monday than I will when I'm leaving.
I'm sure you won't even realize what you're going to feel like when you come back, right? I mean, it's a whole new world for anybody who would go and see this. Yeah.
All of us, right?
Yeah, this is going to be your first time in the same building with the
Absolutely.
man. Yeah, pretty exciting stuff. Dr. Mike Callahan, Director of Campus Ministry at DeSmet Jesuit High School. Connor Blair, one of the 5 kids who are going. Now, were all the Jesuit high schools in America invited to send representatives?
I think so. Over 40 have accepted, but I think it was an open invitation.
Yeah.
There's also a school from Canada. There might be one from, I think, Puerto Rico as well.
Right. And here in St. Louis, it's DeSmet and St. Louis University are both Jesuit high schools. Yeah.
That's right.
Doctor and Connor, guys, have a safe trip, and thanks for checking in.
Wonderful. Thank you for having us.
You got it. 827 here, Big 550.